The Autoblog live stream. My name is Eric. I am the multimedia producer here at Autoblog.com, and today I am joined by Autoblog news editor Joel Stocksdale. What is up? I don't know why I put that weird emphasis on your last name, Stocksdale.
Well, at least it still had all the right letters. Boy, I can't tell you how many times my last name has been misspelled over the years.
Do they miss the second S? Do they go Stockdale?
Yep, that's a big one.
Yeah.
And oftentimes I'll also get like Scottdale or Scottsdale.
Ah, I can totally see that. Yeah, that is interesting. I don't see too many misspellings of my last name, but I definitely get a lot of so it's technically pronounced Meyer, but I get Mayer all the time. And but it doesn't really bother me. Like if people pronounce it Mayer, I almost never correct them because who cares? I know they're talking about me. So like it's one of those kinds of things. I think like Scottsdale or Stockdale would be much more egregious than just a simple mispronunciation that I'm dealing with over here.
Yeah, and even then, like, it's not that big a deal when it's a mispronunciation, but it ends up being a real pain if, like, I'm trying to have somebody look me up or something or send something to me, because that one little misspelling or mispronunciation means that, like, it's been filed away somewhere, and, like, and I've got to be like, well, it might have been under this or that because somebody might have written it down wrong.
Right. Yeah, that is, I guess, the curse of not having an easy last name. Even though I'd argue both of ours are not exceptionally difficult, or I should say neither one of ours are exceptionally difficult.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But
I suppose it's one of those things where, like, if your name, like, I had a friend whose name was Chelsea, and she would tell me that all the time is just because there's all of these different ways of spelling that name that it becomes a whole thing. Because every parent has to have their child's name specially spelled in a certain way.
Of course. Well, you're talking to Eric with the K right now, so it's a similar kind of. I think, although I definitely see Eric's with K's out there. It's not super out of left field, but the C is definitely more common.
Yeah.
But I prefer the K personally. I'm glad. Just a little. Adds a little spice to it. I'm not a big fan of my middle name is Paul, and I'm not a huge fan of it, so I never use it. But I do like the K, my first name.
It's sort of like Mortal Kombat with the K.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
That little something.
There you go. Yeah, it definitely wouldn't be the same if it was just Mortal Kombat with a C. That's for sure.
Gosh, that was that was one of the funnier parts of the Mortal Kombat movie recently, where I'm blanking on the character's name all of a sudden.
The new one? Was it like the new guy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what was his name? What a useless character. But anyways.
But when the woman's explaining to him about this tournament, this Mortal Kombat, and she has it spelled out with a K. And he's like, "What? Did they not know how to spell or something?"
Yeah, I did. I did like that movie, but yeah, that character is absolutely useless. Didn't need to be there. They should have just made that character Johnny Cage if they really wanted to do that. Would have been fine. Well, I mean, make him more like Johnny Cage, but I mean, like, they should have replaced that character with Johnny Cage rather than inventing a new character.
I don't think so, because the thing is, like, Johnny Cage is not, like, a particularly likable. I mean, like, he's likable, but in, like, an obnoxious way that would be hard to carry a movie.
I guess I can see that. I guess I'd argue the new guy wasn't likable either, but But he's not. He wasn't intentionally unlikable the way Johnny Cage is. Oh no.
Yeah, I think he kind of pulled it together a little bit toward the end. But yeah, he was just kind of he was a little bland for most of the movie.
Yeah, I wish. What did his power end up being? It was just like an armor suit or something. And I feel like
it was basically Black Panther's suit.
Yeah, you're right. It was basically a Black Panther suit. And I wish if they were gonna... I guess spoiler alert for this movie that literally no one cares. Like, if you care about it, you've seen it. But, if they were gonna make him an ancestor or a descendant of Scorpion, give him some Scorpion power, give him some fire powers or something. It's like, make it make sense. Don't just throw it at the very end. It's like, oh yeah, and then, or maybe it wasn't even at the very end, but regardless. But I'm being more harsh on that movie than I felt. I did like it, and I'm excited for the second one. But I hope they actually have a Mortal Kombat in the second Mortal Kombat, because they didn't even have a Mortal Kombat in the first one.
Yeah, I actually did quite enjoy the movie, and
yeah.
Well, and I think they made it pretty clear through the movie the connection between the new guy and Scorpion.
Yeah, totally. I guess it just seemed unnecessary. It's like, it seemed like they were trying to buy... how can I phrase it? It's like, they're trying to make people care about him by proxy, almost, instead of just making him, like, interesting enough. That's how I felt.
I can see that, yeah.
But people might hate this suggestion, but I feel like they could easily make it all better if they put that character in the next game and actually make him good and cool. Then sure, like retroactively make him part of the canon.
I can see that.
Yeah, I mean they do it all the time with like Marvel. Why not do it with the... And it works. I think they do it really well in Marvel. So, sure it would work in Mortal Kombat. That was a not good first race for me. I didn't even crack the top 3. I have not played this game in about 2 weeks. It's the last time we streamed. And if anyone is currently watching, sorry for having a last minute no stream last week. Just needed to, not really an emergency or anything, but we just needed to kind of last minute cut it last week. So apologies, but everything's fine, and hopefully I can get back in the groove here quickly, because I want to keep the trend of getting first place in every race before moving on. But speaking of exactly what we're doing here, racing video games, Joel, please tell me about Gran Turismo 7 and what you're liking and disliking about it, and how you've been enjoying it the past couple of weeks.
Well, right off the bat, I have had a whole lot of fun with it, and actually, if you give me just a minute, I can probably look up just how many hours I've sunk into it the last couple
yeah,
weeks.
I'd love to know that stat.
It's a lot. I can tell you that right now without looking. Yeah, I think I mentioned on the stream before that this was a game that I broke my rule of no pre-orders for.
Yes.
And for the most part, I have not been disappointed. I feel
nice, good.
Like it still was worth it. In a lot of ways, it's the most polished Gran Turismo game in a while. It does have some rough edges, some of which were recently self-inflicted.
Such as? Or do you want to talk about the positives first?
Well, we can jump right into it because it's
Okay.
been kind of it's been a bit of a news story lately.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Are you talking about how it was like the online was down for like over a day?
Well, that's part of it.
Uh-oh, there's... Okay, let's hear the rest of it.
So the other week, it went down because they were pushing out an update, and it cropped up some issues for people's save data, and so they jumped in and were making some emergency changes, which resulted in the game servers being down for, let's see, I think I saw somewhere that said they were down for like 36 hours.
Jeez.
Which brought up one of the game's issues. It requires an internet connection.
Oh, that's so dumb.
So, technically, you could boot up the game, and there were a couple extremely limited game modes that you could access, but that was it. So depending, I mean, you might not have been able to play for what felt like 2 days.
Right.
Which is pretty darn annoying.
Yeah, especially within the first 2 weeks of the release.
Yeah. And then the update resulted in some other issues.
This? What?
So, I knew from when I installed the game, there were microtransactions, just as there were for GT Sport. Basically,
It hasn't been too bad, but just FYI, we lost a little bit of what you were saying there.
Okay.
Weird microtransactions.
Yeah. So you can spend real money to get in-game currency. And the problem there is that with this update, they made it so that a whole bunch of events no longer gave as larger rewards, which
so it's the Battlefront 2 issue.
That
sounds like
I'll extremely feel like they're a little bit. Now on the plus side, it's not like you're pouring money in not knowing whether you'll actually get what you're wanting, because the only microtransactions are for credits, which then you can use to buy exactly what you want. However, it costs a lot. And when they made it so that you get less money for winning a bunch of races, it sure as heck felt like they were pushing for you to spend real money.
Oh, that's a bummer. I wouldn't have expected that from Sony.
Yeah, it was really disappointing. And as a result, they have been getting review bombed.
Yeah, that will happen.
I believe I saw that they've got like the lowest Metacritic user score of any Sony published game right now.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's not going well. Now, despite this, I've still been having a whole lot. Now, there have also been some more subjective complaints about the game. Some of them saying that, like, there's not enough to do in the game and whatnot. That I don't really agree with. I've actually had a whole lot of fun with it, and I still haven't finished what's there. And they've been very clear that they are going to have more coming to the game, more events, more cars, more tracks. They're going to be supporting this game for a while.
That's good.
So, yeah. And we still have yet to see how it's going to work. With Gran Turismo Sport, every single content expansion that they added was completely free. So every new track, every extra set of events, every new car was all free. I mean, granted, when they added a new car, usually you would still have to buy it in the game with your credit. Okay, I found how many hours I've played in the game so far.
Yeah, how many?
I have spent 48 hours total.
Okay. Nice. Oh man, in the past 2 weeks, yeah, that is a large amount of playing time.
Yeah.
But that's the oh boy, they're having a fist fight in the cutscene here. I'm not paying attention. But yeah, so sorry guys. It's kind of windy out here, and like every time the wind blows, my internet gets bad. And it's and it's like really bad right now, and I don't know why, but the stream looks awful. I really apologize. It's also like 2 minutes behind. Sorry guys. I don't really know what I can do other than restart the stream, which will not help, unfortunately.
It took me a second. I was like, wait, what do you mean? Why?
Oh no, I can't even make out what you're saying. It's so bad. Oh, can stuff just work?
It's weird because I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Wow, that is weird. I mean, I'm getting 0 KB per second upload on OBS. So that's and the stream just crashed on Twitch for the second or third time. I mean,
Yikes. Wow, how am I still...
Yeah, I would love to know that as well.
Still hearing you. Like,
That's so strange.
I'm having absolutely no issues.
That's Eric. So weird! I wonder... Here, let me see if I can... hardwire into my modem. Hopefully this doesn't break everything. Haven't had to be hardwired in many months. And to be honest, I don't know if this will help. To be even more honest, I doubt it will, but it's worth a try. Alright. Okay. We are hardwired. Joel, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, it is currently in the green, although it looked like it was in the green before I did that, but maybe now it'll stay in the green at least. And you responding sounded better than it had all stream. So hopefully we'll be okay. But that is about all I can do. But what was the last thing? Oh yeah, 48 hours you said?
Yes.
Yeah, that is that is a lot of time to put into a game. But I mean I feel like that's the proof that it is fun. Right?
Yeah.
Like
yeah, the racing is a blast. The physics are really good. They are a little bit more challenging this time around. I think because they are a little bit more realistic. The rear drive cars are a little tricky to handle. You've got to be really careful with the throttle.
yeah, that makes sense.
But like it's got the full complement of Gran Turismo features. It's got the license tests, it's got the races, it's got the special mission events. It's got all the different dealerships. You can customize performance on your vehicles with different parts. You can get a limited number of visual upgrades for different cars. It's basically what I had been hoping for.
Nice.
And the graphics are gorgeous. It's been a lot of fun playing on the revamped versions of two of my favorite old Gran Turismo tracks, Trial Mountain and Deep Forest Raceway. It runs great. On PS5, it runs in 4K and 60 frames a second. In races, in racing, it turns off ray tracing to maintain that frame rate.
Yes.
And then it switches it on everywhere else. And even then, it's a steady 30 frames a second in like replays and stuff when ray tracing is active. And if that bothers you, you can switch off ray tracing entirely for everything, and then it's 60 frames a second all the way through.
Do you notice like an immediate difference between the race and the replay in terms of like with ray tracing on? Are you like, oh wow, yeah, I don't know, is it super noticeable with ray tracing on, I guess, is what I'm asking. Curious.
It's subtle, but I think you do notice it.
Okay.
Mainly with like reflections and shadows and stuff, which would make sense because it's tracing light rays.
Yep.
And the car selection is not as big as some past ones, but at least every car is up to like full detail. Unlike GT5 and GT6, where they ported over like PS2 models for a lot of cars.
Right.
And while the physics in some ways are slightly more challenging, this is also possibly the easiest Gran Turismo for somebody that's completely new to the series to get into. Because first off, you've got when you first start up the game, you have difficulty settings, easy, normal, or hard for the AI, and of course, I mean, like past ones, you've got the full complement of driver assist, but the core of the campaign mode is what's called the GT Cafe, and you go there and you talk to a guy, and he runs the cafe, and he gives you these quote-unquote menus that have different goals for you to do, like to compete in certain events, to collect a certain group of cars, and you're rewarded for each of them, and it kind of guides you through like trying out different vehicles and different races, and how to customize, and you also unlock everything going through that mode. It's kind of nice to have that little bit of structure, and it also and like this is partly why for a lot of the game I feel like you might not even really notice being like low on credits or anything, because you're being rewarded through all this, and usually the events that you're told to do come with prize cars
Right.
that will help you continue through the game. So yeah, it's a little bit it's a little complicated in the whole economy sense, because it gives you a really good early boost, but then as it goes on, you can start to feel a little bit of the grindy nature, which I also am not hugely bothered by, because every Gran Turismo game has been kind of grindy.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I remember that even from way back in the day. I mean, maybe it's just because I wasn't very good, but it sure felt grindy to me at the time. But not in a bad way, though. So
Yeah. Well, because that's the thing, like, I feel the core racing gameplay is good enough that, like, it doesn't really feel like too much of a chore. It can get a little tiring now and then, especially if you're really going for a really expensive car.
Yeah.
But, well, and then also part of me feels like clearly part of the plan is they're going to continue providing more content. And some of that content is going to be more of these GT Cafe menus. I've completed all the ones that are available now, but there's going to be more later. So I do kind of feel like some of the idea is that, yeah, you're probably not going to be able to get some of these super high-end ones unless, like, you're, like, crazy dedicated and you've got to have it right away. But I kind of feel like there's going to be more and more events, and kind of the idea is that you're going to kind of keep playing, and you're going to be slowly kind of working your way up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Getting those vehicles.
I
mean, there are also other possible roadblocks to that. One thing that I've been a little bit frustrated with is that vehicle upgrades are really expensive. Like, kind of weirdly expensive. And so, if you want to upgrade cars, you're going to burn through money fast. And that's something I like to do, so...
Right. So are you saying it almost makes better in-game economic sense to just get a new, better car rather than upgrading a current car?
Yeah,
in a lot of cases.
A lot of ways. Yeah. Now, for some events, you will have to build your own cars. Like, for some of the mission races, there are some drag races, and you absolutely have to build a custom car, because you probably wouldn't be able to afford a car that right off the bat that would be able to compete, and it's one of those, like, you just have to build your own car to compete in those. Oh, that does remind me, Nitrous makes a return to...
What? No way!
Yeah.
That's actually super exciting for me. That's awesome.
It's also, like, the most expensive upgrade in the game.
Okay, I think that's probably a smart way to do it.
Yeah, it's 100,000 credits to buy a nitrous system for a car.
Whoa.
And put that in perspective, like, there are a lot of cars that's like double the cost of that car.
Yeah.
Which is not even remotely realistic.
Wow. That's kind of amazing, though.
And it is necessary for those drag races.
Yeah, I believe it. My God, live out your Fast and Furious dreams in GT7.
There's no fire coming out of the tailpipes, though, because that's not
Well, can only get so silly, I guess.
Yeah. Let's see. Other things about the game. Oh, I haven't even dipped into online stuff yet.
Wow, I feel like that's probably a great sign, though, that it's kept you so interested even without that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I am getting kind of close to finishing all of the single-player content. At least the basics. Because I've gotten all my license tests done. I've gotten all the mission races done. I've done most of the just kind of single events. I haven't done any of the called circuit experience, where basically you have to meet certain times on each sector of a racetrack and then a full lap. It's a way to help you kind of learn the racetrack.
Okay. Like that.
So there's all that, and obviously I don't have all the cars in the game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I'm not entirely sure I'll ever actually pull that off. Although there is an emphasis on car collection in the game, and there's even like a section where you can see little spots for every car in the game, and you slowly fill it up as you obtain cars. It's basically
cool.
Pokedex.
Yeah, I was thinking like a Super Smash Bros. Like trophy room. That's awesome.
And seeing that makes me want to fill it all the way out.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, I was gonna say about cash stuff. One of the things that's also a little bit frustrating is that you can't sell any cars that you have.
What?
Yeah.
What? That's crazy.
It's really weird.
Whoa. What a weird choice.
And so that means that, like, if you have a bunch of kind of valuable cars and, like, you could arguably sell them all to buy one really expensive car, that's not an option.
Yeah, whoa, that's so weird. I feel like that, yeah, that is... I mean, in any racing game where you can buy cars, I can't think of another one where you can't then later sell them.
Out of surgery and in stable condition.
Yeah, so that's kind of and I think that's also where some of the complaints have been. It's like, well, we wouldn't be that upset because we could like liquidate our car collection and then have a big pile of cash to buy something, but
right,
that's not an option.
Right.
That also brings me to another thing that's cool, but also can be frustrating.
Okay.
The weather can be dynamic in certain events and stuff, and it's pretty neat. And actually, one of the things that they were touting a whole lot about Gran Turismo just before they launched it was that they've got like really advanced weather simulation for the game, and like we're really careful about like accurate cloud formations and stuff.
Who does?
Which I thought was a little silly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who is noticing or caring about that really in a racing game, but
yeah.
Cool, I guess. It is cool.
However, I will say, in practice, I don't think I have ever seen more realistic or beautiful skies in a video game.
Wow.
They are so nice.
We can.
Like just the lighting and the clouds and like it is really good. It's like, okay, they weren't kidding. This is actually really nice and impressive. But yeah, so and then also the dynamic weather does add some interesting wrenches in racing, because you'll have to think about when to change out tires, like for wet weather, or when to kind of like risk it and just kind of keep going on regular racing tires and things. And actually, to help you in making those decisions, in the bottom right, there's a multifunction display that you can switch over to an actual weather radar, so you can see.
Oh dang!
So you can actually see like rain coming in.
Wow, that is, man, I feel like that's so much work for just a racing game, but that is pretty cool.
Yeah. And the way they've modeled like wet tracks and the way they like dry out over time, it's all really realistic, and it adds some interesting strategy and kind of need to be careful with how you're driving and what decisions you're making. So that's pretty neat. Now, I've run into one fairly critical problem, though, with it.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Despite the fact that there is weather radar, and also the fact that, like, you can actually see, like, when it's starting to, like, when it's going to be raining, you can, like, see the rain clouds and stuff off in the distance, and you can see the lighting start to change and kind of feel more threatening and stuff.
Yeah.
You can't get, there's nowhere that displays an actual forecast for race day. So you can't go in with any kind of foreknowledge.
Oh.
Now, that's really a problem, because there have been some events where I have thought that it's just going to be dry, and I start the race, and immediately it's rainy, as opposed to, like, becoming rainy later. And so I'm like, well, I have the completely wrong tires for this, so I'm gonna quit and start again.
Yeah, that is crazy that it doesn't... Because everybody's got to be doing that, right? Like, why wouldn't they just tell you up front so players don't have to immediately quit?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, in real life, if you're professionally racing, you have access to weather forecasts.
Yeah.
So you...
Yeah.
And at the very least, you know whether or not it's raining before you start the event.
Yeah.
So that has gotten me a couple of times. Because oftentimes the race is short enough where it's like, even if you could get through one lap to get to the pit stop and change tires, it's like, well, then you've completely thrown the race anyway, because you're not going to be able to make up for that.
Yeah, right. That's a weird one.
Yeah, so yeah, it's one of those things where, like, they got real close, but they missed an important part.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's something that they can patch in.
Oh, sorry. I'm so mad I just did that. I didn't think there was going to be drift events in this game. I was so excited. I didn't have to show how bad I am at drifting in every video game, and they hit me with a drift event. But sorry, I didn't mean for my gasp to derail you.
Nah, you're good.
I was just mad I did that.
Yeah, so this is one of those things. On the whole, I still am having a whole lot of fun with Gran Turismo 7. I think it's really good.
It sounds awesome.
And something else I wanted to mention, Digital Foundry posted a video showing off how GT7 runs on PS4 and comparing it to the PS5.
Yeah,
and
is it pretty good?
I was pleased to see that while there are obviously some graphical downgrades, they're not particularly big. It's lower resolution. You lose a bit of trackside detail, and you get a little bit of pop in from when in-game models are switching from, like, low detail to high detail as they get close to you. But even on PS4, because of some of those little tweaks, it still runs at 60 frames a second when you're racing, so it still performs well. And
yeah, it's still great.
And visually, it still looks pretty on par with Gran Turismo Sport, which was still a really good-looking game when GT7 came out. So, and loading times are longer on PS4
Sure.
because it doesn't have the super fast solid-state drive that PS5 has. So I was glad to see that, like, if I wasn't able to get a PS5, I would still be able to get GT7 and still have a good time with it.
Yeah, that's very good to know, because there are definitely still people out there who have either not been able to... Oh my god. Alright, I'll take that. I just did a... it really shot up my drift rewards there. I had previously seen Great Drift, and then I just saw Amazing, something fantastic, Drift King. It's like, okay. Anyways, that shocked me so much I forgot what I was saying. I apologize. Oh yeah, because there's definitely still people out there who haven't been able to get a PS5 yet. So that is awesome.
And it was also nice to see that, like, if you do have a PS5, there are noticeable graphical upgrades. So
yeah, for sure.
It seems like kind of a win-win situation.
Yeah, that's the best. I will be interested to see when they really, like, in earnest start releasing games that are, like, 100% next-gen only. I wonder if... It's like, because everything looks amazing for the most part nowadays. But I do wonder if graphically some things are still being held back for the old consoles, which is not necessarily a bad thing, I would say. But I just am excited to see in like 5 or 6 years when the PS4 and the Xbox One are fully phased out and devs are really going for it in terms of graphic quality. That is going to be really exciting. Just seeing what we've seen so far already, even without that.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of those things where I think Ratchet and Clank: A Rift Apart provides kind of a good look at that.
Yeah, you're right.
Because that's PS5 only, and
Yep.
it is exclusive to PS5 right now. And, I mean, that is still hands down the most beautiful video game I've ever played. Period.
Yeah, I really hope they bring that one to PC one day. I think chances are non-zero. I think it's possible.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. And of course, everybody is wondering, will Gran Turismo 7 come to PC? And like, I have no idea. I think it's a distinct possibility.
Yeah, I mean, just the way they've been handling things lately, it provides some hope for sure. And especially after being able to play God of War on PC, and that is probably the best looking game I've ever played up to this point. I guess maybe it's hard to say. I think it has maybe the best looking characters. I think maybe Cyberpunk 2077 is the best looking in terms of the best world and environment. But God of War, I mean, I felt like I was controlling like real human people in just digital form. Like they looked so real. It was so impressive. But I forgot if I had a point there. But the point is, video games are great.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if the world doesn't end itself in the next decade or two, they're gonna get even better. Also, I can't believe how bad I am at drift events in every game. No, how does that not count?
My dog stepped on my headphone cord and just about pulled it off my head.
Yeah, I have I have my I guess it's probably obvious to people watching, but maybe it's not, just because you wouldn't think about this and who does it. But like, I have my PC hooked up to and the stream hooked up to my television in my living room, and so like I'm sitting on my couch just in my living room, which is just a normal couch distance away from a TV, I would say. And because of that, and because my dog is a psycho, I basically have to be completely wireless from from there to here, because the very first day I finished building my PC, and I had a long wired keyboard and a long wired mouse, and the very first day my dog decided to sprint from one side of the living room to the other side of the living room and ripped the cords out from this brand new PC I had just finished. Definitely breaking at least one of the USB ports. And thankfully nothing more than that. But and then as soon as she did it, I was immediately like, that was my fault. I should have known better. I 100% should have known better. This was obviously gonna happen.
I mean, how many years have you lived with a border collie now?
Right, exactly, exactly. It's totally my fault, but we figured it out. We just got some wireless stuff, and it works just fine.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. So I was thinking to myself that I haven't even touched Grid at all since I got GT7. I've just been playing that all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure you're not alone. I'm sure you're not alone.
I feel a little bit bad for Codemasters that, like, they launch Grid like just right before GT7 comes out.
Yeah, that was a. I mean, they chose that release date though, or somebody up the chain did.
Yeah.
That was a weird move.
I mean, thank goodness they at least launched it a little bit before GT7 came.
Yeah.
Because if they had launched the same week or after, that would have probably been rough.
Yeah, they would have had no chance. Which is a
I
shame because it is fun.
Yeah, I mean, I ended up buying Grid because I had built up my racing game itch so much, but still had like a few days before GT7 came out, and I was like, this looks really good, I'll go ahead and buy it and play it. And I had a lot of fun, it was worth it.
Yeah.
I'm glad I've got it. And I mean, at the very least, if you're on PC or Xbox,
right,
it's an option.
Yeah.
It's a very different game, but it is a lot of fun, and it's a way to get a little racing fix if you don't have a system for GT7.
Yeah, I have been really enjoying it. I don't know if people have been... well, the chat's pretty quiet today, but I don't know if any lurkers have been paying attention to the story or not, but like, we had like a fist fight between one of the cool teams and one of the bad guys, and then my partner got in a bad accident because one of the bad guys was like racing all crazy. So I guess I'm the team's last hope is the implication there. And then the engineer tried to resign because he felt like it was his fault that my partner got into a bad accident.
Yeah, it's quite the drama.
Yeah, it really is. And speaking of people in the chat being quiet, what's up, Karis? Welcome. Yes! First, wow, my dog did not like that.
Oh man, there have been so many times that I've been playing GT7 where, and this is just what you sign up for when you're playing GT7. Trying to get like gold time on events. There have been so many times that, I mean, I'm just like trying over and over and over again, trying to nail the line and get it just right, and coming so close. And sometimes like it'll be really good, and I get across the line, I feel like I've done it, the time comes up, and I am off by literally like 1 to 3 thousandths of a second. And I will just let out like a scream or just a groan like really loud, and like my dog will be like, "Whoa, what's going on? What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Like, it's been so quiet, and all of a sudden you do this.
Yeah, Melody will do that a lot. Well, because I get so focused, and she, being a border collie, really focuses in on my focus. And so any reaction I have she like mirrors basically. Also, Cars, this is Grid Legends. Grid Legends is the name of this game. It's super fun. So we're playing Grid Legends because I don't have PS5, but we've been talking Gran Turismo 7. But both are really fun games.
It's something that I noticed with Grid Legends that I liked, but also I was kind of mixed on, is how there is like it just goes straight from event to event to event to event. There's like no pause. There's no moment to like pause.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And like the story mode is long enough that I wouldn't mind if there was more of just like a moment where it felt like you were on kind of a menu for like setting things up, and that kind of felt like a place you could stop for a while. But on the flip side, I do like how it really just flows from like event to like cutscene to event. Like it just,
Yeah.
it feels like almost one giant movie. But at the same time, it's like, this is long enough where I do have to stop at some point. And
Yeah.
it would be nice to kind of have that sort of like, okay, we are on a menu now, and we can stop, and and you can come back later.
Yeah,
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. There's no like explicit place where, like, if you wanted to, you could easily play through the story mode front to back and never stop. Really, like, there's never pause, never. Yeah, you just get through it. But yeah, I guess the intent, if it, maybe it's intentional, maybe it's not, but I guess they just like intend you to like, when you're done with the race or before you start a race, just in the lineup, is they want you to pause and go back to the menu. But yeah, I definitely see that concern, but I do think I definitely like the pace.
Yeah, no, I do too. I think maybe next time around they could maybe just tweak it just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, just give people more of an option to like take a breather.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Yeah, and Cars, I can confirm that yes, the Grid Legends is very arcadey racing.
Yeah, it is outrageously arcadey.
But it is still a very fun racing game.
Yeah, I love it. This is like, so I rarely play racing games not on the stream. Not because I don't like playing racing games, obviously, just because there's a million games out there. And, but more so than any other racing game I've played on the stream in the past 6 months, Grid is for sure the one I'd rather play, like, on my own time. Even more so than Forza. Really more so. Yeah. Just, this is the kind of racing game that, clicks for me. I don't know. I don't know.
It's got a really good sense of speed.
Yes.
I think that's a big part of it. Like, it feels fast and fluid.
True. Yeah, very true. Cars is still on that iRacing grind. I love it. Yeah, that is one that I don't think I'll ever experience.
Yeah, same. I don't have the equipment for it, and I don't think would have the patience for it.
Yeah.
Like, Gran Turismo 7 is about as realistic as, and like that, and whenever that next Forza Motorsport game comes out, I think that's about as realistic as I'm gonna handle.
Yeah, I'm really stoked for the next Forza Motorsport. I hope they are diligently working on that, and they haven't just completely put that series on the back burner for Horizon.
I don't think they have, especially because Playground Games is taking a break from Horizon with Fable. Rusty, it's not time yet.
True.
I've got a dog saying that he requires nourishment. I'm choosing my words carefully.
Yeah, yeah, daylight savings really annoyed my pup.
Totally what's happening. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, because it's like they don't care about our clocks. They
It's like time is time.
Yeah.
It's you and your artificial clock constructs.
Right. I think I'm gonna have to do the old restart on this one. We'll see. Maybe not.
Something else that I forgot to mention with GT7 is that it's got really good implementation of the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller.
Yeah, that's awesome.
One of the neat things that it does is that when you're racing, it actually really increases the resistance on the brake and throttle triggers. So the brake actually feels quite realistic. Like you actually have to use some real pressure to activate it, and it kind of helps you modulate it. Adding the resistance on the throttle, I'm a little more mixed about, because I feel like it actually starts to wear on my hand a little bit, because I'm making more and finer adjustments with that than I am with the braking.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a little bit mixed. But then you also get some nice feedback through the triggers that kind of lets you know when your tires are starting to give up. Like if you're either giving it too much throttle or too much braking. And then also the rest of the rumble in the controller is so good. Where you can really feel it is there are these highway races in Tokyo, and so anytime that you're going over like the expansion joints in the road, in addition to hearing it, you also feel that clear like thump, 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 thump,
oh, that's awesome.
Right through the controller. It's really, really, really cool.
That is super awesome.
Every time you make a shift, you feel just this little pulse through the controller, like gears have changed, and it's the really nice rumble is really good. Like it actually still kind of amazes me that like Nintendo was kind of the first one of this generation to like have,
isn't that insane?
Like super high their HD rumble.
Yeah.
Because that was the only other place that I'd like experienced that kind of like really fancy haptics.
Yeah, and even then it was so underutilized.
Yeah.
Just because I guess devs don't know or don't care to use it, or don't know how. I guess.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's like. I don't know. I don't know if it's like Nintendo developers just. I don't know if it's the types of games that they make just don't really like prompt you to
lend
think
themselves
about like
to it.
super realistic rumble.
Yeah. Oh, gotta restart. Bummer. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I think a racing game is a great use of it for sure. Also, Cars says there's not very many racing games I've been into lately outside of iRacing. I'm hoping the new Motorsport is it. Yeah, I would agree. I think I've been into a couple just fine, but I've definitely the past year or so begun to kind of see. I heard someone describe it as like I've begun to like see into the Matrix, and I realized that like every racing game really is just the same, and they're, you know, at their core, and it's, I don't know, I just need a little more. I need just something to scratch that itch, that dopamine itch in my brain, to where like I want to play this for many hours at a time, because if I don't get that from a game, then I'll never play it ever, really. Because I'm just not the kind of person to like play 30 to 45 minutes of a game at a time, it's just never... Like, I need a game to get its hooks into me, for sure, to, like, really, really enjoy myself with it. Which, actually, the latest one to do that for me is Mass Effect Andromeda. I've really... That's been my comfort game lately, because I've been in the middle of buying a house and kind of moving as well, so that's just been like my comfort game. And despite the fact that the internet told me that game was terrible, it's not. It's it's really fun. But I do see, now that I'm farther into it, I'm about 40 hours into that, and I definitely see people's points. It's just, it's a victim of its ambition, I would say. It's one of those. It's like, it's so ambitious, and a lot of times it lives up to it, but a lot of times it absolutely does not. And, but it's definitely good enough to where I've been really, really loving it. Big fan of Mass Effect Andromeda. I think it got done way too dirty by the internet. Because before I played it, the only thing I've heard about that game at all is how terrible it is. And it is... That does it such a disservice. Nobody in their right mind could ever call that game terrible. For sure. It's very well made. So much content. Really interesting story. And the Mass Effect universe is a really interesting universe. But there are some bugs, for sure. And there are some things that make absolutely no sense and are really annoying. So I definitely get it, but yeah, that's my Andromeda spiel. Big fan. Just love Mass Effect in general. I'm so glad I gave those games a try last year for the first time.
Yeah, so Cars was saying that yeah, he's felt kind of the same thing, but he says, but iRacing is different for me. I've been getting into league racing a lot and built friendships off of iRacing and met a lot of really cool people.
That's
awesome.
I
mean, I got to race against Dale Earnhardt Jr. once.
That's amazing! How did he do, and how did you do in that race? Do you remember? I'm curious how Dale Jr. is at iRacing.
Oh, he kicked my ass.
Wow. That's kind of awesome, though.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, like, yeah, professional racing drivers really do, like, they race in iRacing.
Yeah.
And like Cars said, I mean, there's a big community and leagues and stuff with.
Oh yeah, big time.
It's kind of like the closest thing to like real racing you can get, which is also why I don't do it, because I don't have the equipment or the patience.
Yep. Honestly,
so that means that I have a lot of respect for the people that do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's just not my thing. I have absolutely nothing against it. I think it's awesome. But yeah, just not for me. Also, I do the only thing I think is not awesome is that you have to pay a monthly subscription to play it. That's ridiculous. Get that World of Warcraft garbage out of here. But other than that, I
don't know. I mean, it is a pretty intense simulation that they run, and also like maintaining their servers and things, because it's not a mass market enough kind of thing where they can just make the money off of like individual sales.
But I wonder if they could if it wasn't like that, right? Like,
well, but that's the thing. The people that play it, they play it because of that. Because it's so intensely realistic.
Oh, no, I guess
not a mass market thing.
Yeah, that's not what I meant. I meant, I think it's, I think less people, it's like, I think it's a chicken or the egg situation. It's like, do they not make enough money, and are they so niche because they're just, the audience isn't there? Or have they put themselves into this position by making their game a monthly subscription service? My guess is the latter, but it's just a guess. But I just hate that business plan for any game that exists. I think that's insane. Unless I guess it's like you get like new tracks every month, but there are only so many tracks that exist in the world, so I can't imagine that's the case. So I don't know. I guess I don't buy the argument where it's just for server maintenance. It's like Call of Duty has server maintenance. Let me use a less mainstream example. This game has server maintenance. Grid Legends has server maintenance. And they get it done.
Yeah, but these are games that sell on just gigantic numbers.
You think Grid Legends has a higher user base than iRacing?
Yeah, probably.
Interesting. I wish numbers were more clear, because my gut would say that is not true, but I have absolutely no numbers to back that up at all.
I mean, there may not be that many. There may not be like, I don't know if there'd be that many people like actually playing Grid online. But like, there are probably a lot of people that buy it that never actually do play online.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't even know. I feel like maybe I'm just giving iRacing too much of a... In my head, iRacing is enormous, but maybe that's not... Maybe it's just not. Maybe that's just in my head. Oh, no! Oh, no! Did I really just mess... No.
This is what you get for getting all mad about that.
Oh, I'm not mad about it at all. I just think, I don't know. I just... In my brain, iRacing is like king. It's like one of the kings of racing games. So I feel like they just must have a huge amount of players. And I feel like a monthly service, a monthly payment takes advantage of people much more so than a, you know, just buy it and be done. But also, I don't play it, and I'm the only one I've ever heard complain about it. So if the people are, if the people who actually play it don't care, then why should I guess. Oh, that'd be interesting to know, Cars. Cars is going to look how many people are on the iRacing service right now. But I also do wonder, too, similarly to how many people buy Grid and never play it, how many people start an iRacing subscription and just never cancel it. Or keep it going for, like, a long time past, because, like, well, I'll surely play this game next month, because I have,
It's not as many people as you think.
I don't know, dude! I think you greatly discount the amount of people who let subscriptions run forever.
Because the other thing is that to do simulation and to do it on an extremely high realistic level is like time consuming and expensive.
Yeah, totally.
And like, because the thing is that like iRacing does not have like, as far as I know, I mean, full disclosure for anybody watching right now, neither of us are particularly experts on iRacing.
No, yeah. This
so this is, we're really kind of spitballing here.
Yeah.
But like iRacing doesn't have like the corporate backing of like EA or Activision or
True.
Like it's an indie developer effectively. So it's not like a gigantic team with gigantic amounts of money.
Whoa.
And I mean, like, I think they pride themselves on extraordinarily accurate simulation of vehicles and environments. So like, it's not like, I don't know, it's not like they're gonna have kind of a blanket physics engine for all the different vehicles that they tweak. Like they're making sure that everything is as absolutely realistic as possible.
Yeah, I do get that. I guess my point is just, but then once you've done that, it's like once you model a track, I mean, maybe tracks will get tweaked throughout the years. Certainly cars will get tweaked throughout the years, but I feel like the initial lift is the biggest lift. And then, yeah, I don't know. I mean, as you said, I am clearly talking out of my rear here. Like, I'm not a game developer. I just don't, in general, as a blanket statement, I just don't like subscription games. I don't know. I don't like it. The only subscription things that I fully embrace are like Netflix style television and movie entertainment and like Game Pass. I'm a fan of those subscription things because I feel like the value far outweighs the cost. But for a single video game, I just don't buy it. But like I said, I also have never played it, so what do I know? Oh man, get off the wall! But I just feel like in this day and age, I'm hyper vigilant of businesses taking advantage of their customers because 99.99999% of them do. And I hate that. I hate that is what the society we live in has become.
So here's something. So on their website it says, sign up today and join 200,000 sim racers all over the world.
Okay.
So that's 200,000 globally.
Okay, yeah, so that is not a lot. You're right.
Yeah.
For sure. I would have assumed it was well into the millions, but I guess that is just my working at an auto journalism site bias. So that is fair.
Well, and like that's the thing. It's like I almost hesitate to even call iRacing a video game per se. Like it's almost like
I feel like iRacing is a metaverse. People talk about metaverses. I feel like that's like is that what were you going to use to describe? I kind of cut you off.
where I was going.
Yeah.
I mean, like I guess I would almost like relate it to being sort of like your subscription is almost like you're paying your like greens fees if you're going golfing, or like if you're or even like a gym membership. Like you or I don't know, it's yeah, I don't know if I'm quite getting it there, but basically
yeah,
my point is this is a very niche thing with kind of a small member group that's doing really high level simulation. And so I think this is the way they're able, like this is how they're able to actually pull it off.
Yeah, I guess I'm skeptical. The thing I'm skeptical of is the cost to maintain. That's all I'm skeptical of their cost to maintain.
Well,
because
this is the thing. It's also not just maintenance. I mean, they're always adding stuff.
Yeah, true. I guess I consider, maintenance of the game at large, which includes, new cars. You're right. You're totally right. Bad word choice.
Yeah, and so yeah, they say that there's a little over 100 cars to choose from, which is actually more than I initially thought. And actually, it's a pretty good selection. But then also, I mean, like, I'm sure that they're having to pay for licenses and things, and then they have to pay to go out and like they do laser scanning of racetracks, and It's just all stuff that costs money and stuff. Oh my goodness. I'm on the iRacing website right now. There's user manuals for each different types of vehicle.
Wow! That is very intense.
But this is what I mean by, like, they put a lot of effort into this kind of stuff. It's a little bit like, I've got a friend that's really into Flight Simulator. And wow. Yeah, sorry, I'm just like browsing through kind of like this like setup guide and stuff for different types of vehicles, and
Yeah,
it explains all these things pretty in depth. It's pretty neat. But yeah, I've got a friend that's super into Flight Simulator, and there are user groups that so like it allows for user generated like add-ons and mods, and he's told me about there are these groups of people, just these independent like kind of small groups that will like work really hard on modeling and like accurately creating a plane to use in the game, and you have to pay real money to them to add it to your game. But it's I understand why, because like he tells me like they recreate the entire like airplane user manual for like operating that plane and making sure that everything in the plane is functional in the game, and like they talk to like actual pilots and engineers and stuff to like make it like it's crazy how in-depth it gets.
See, that kind of model doesn't bother me at all, though. I guess I would be much less annoyed, and to be fair, a very small part of me is annoyed with iRacing to begin with. I think we're only still having this conversation just because it's been interesting to debate about. But I think I'd be less annoyed if iRacing had like a free version, and then people could, or if there were like multiple ways to pay. Like if they offered a subscription, like a season pass. I have no problem with season passes. I have no problem with DLC at all. I totally get that. I think as I'm narrowing down my own annoyance here, I think my annoyance is just the lack of choice. It's like I couldn't even see if I liked iRacing without putting in my credit card and doing a month, even if it was a free trial. It's like, that's just annoying. It's a barrier to entry that doesn't need to exist in the year 2022. That does bum me out. But I am super happy to, you know, pay for additional tracks or additional cars or additional... Let me rephrase. I'm not super happy. I just think it's fair. I think that's a totally fine way if they want to make a little more money on the back end of their video game that way, or if third parties do as well, like the group that you were just talking about. It sounded like that was a third party, right? That was not Microsoft.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then like iRacing is adding their stuff officially. Like that's stuff
yeah.
That they are continued. Now, actually, it does look like a lot of kind of additional stuff is extra cost, but I think it's
an iRacing.
Some things.
No, see, I hate that. I hate it again. I'm back. I'm fully back to I hate it. That's ridiculous. You can't have a subscription and paid DLC. It's got to be one or the other. That is ridiculous. That's super ridiculous.
But again, we established that this is a very niche product.
Yeah, but
that are really, I guess let me put it a different way. So like I was in bowling leagues when I was a little kid.
Okay.
And like you had to pay you still had to pay like league fees and stuff.
like to play.
Right.
And that still didn't necessarily include like if you wanted like if you wanted like a different like bowling ball or something, like, I mean, that'd still be on you to like, if you want a different bowling ball that isn't like just provided by the bowling alley, well, you can buy one.
Totally,
like,
but in that situation, you'd have the option to shop around for a bowling ball and maybe save some money. Maybe you get a used bowling ball. I mean, we're stretching the metaphor pretty thin, but I am at least. I think that actually was a really good point. But I think there are differences, though, for sure.
The thing is, I don't think they are doing this to take advantage of players. I think they are doing it because that's how they keep the lights on and keep things going and keep adding stuff.
Yeah, I am
Because also, let me also add on to this. They're not like releasing a new edition of the game every few years.
right.
It's the same base game. So it's not like Call of Duty where there's going to be another game that releases the next year that they can sell a whole million copies of that and keep going.
Totally. I guess yeah, it's just my big problem is just I think the Call of Duty model is a much better way to do it than pay us $15 to $30 a month and maybe we'll add something to the game this month. Maybe we won't, but at least you have the you can play it, but you have to pay us that $15 a month. Oh, and also you have to pay extra to get different things too. That's just
Well, but also like they're continuously like updating and adding to it. And, like it's not one of those like, oh well, I think you may actually be underestimating the amount of like maintenance and service and stuff added to, like, because it is built as like a service. It's not. I think something like this is perfectly fine as a subscription. Like, I think there are cases where that makes the most sense. I do agree with you, however, that there are companies that will do it to take advantage and take more money. But this is a very different case.
yeah, I guess that's where I just I don't know if I'll ever agree. I will never give any corporation the benefit of the doubt. They don't deserve it. I think every company thinks that they are not taking advantage of their customers, and almost every single one of them is, unfortunately. But that is my own personal belief, which I know is I'm cognizant enough to realize that's not always accurate, and I could very well be wrong. But that's just I don't know. In my soul, I can't give any corporation the benefit of the doubt, and I refuse to do it now. But let me say yet again, I still think the concept of iRacing is cool. And I really don't have any problems with it. If people want to pay that subscription, they should pay that subscription. I just don't like it in terms of, I don't know, just the way society works, I guess. The fact that things like that are becoming more and more normalized. And the power of the consumer's dollar is becoming less and less valued. Yes! Yeah, I think iRacing just unwittingly became the victim of my tirade against capitalism, which is truly what just happened there. But
I think so, and I think possibly undeservedly.
I disagree with that. I think they're very. I think I think any company that's getting $15 to $30 a month times 200,000 every month, they can take it. They can definitely take it. They can take one random guy's rant on Twitch.
Yeah, but that's also to like support their entire like staff and to go do additional simulating and modeling and server purchases, and like it all starts to add up.
Sure, but if they're that indie, then they certainly don't need to be getting... I mean, what is 200,000 times... What is a subscription? Is it 15? I'm assuming it's 15 a month. 200,000 times 15 times 12. That's a ludicrous amount of money per year. And I guarantee it does not take that much money to maintain a game like that. And by guarantee, to be clear, that is hyperbole because I don't know what I'm talking about. But I do feel deep in my soul that they probably make plenty of cash.
It looks like new memberships are currently discounted.
Oh, two? Good.
They're 40% off depending on how many months you get right off the bat.
Okay.
If you get 1 month, it's $7.80.
Alright. Alright. That's less than I thought.
If you get 2 years, it's just under $5 a month.
Okay. Less than I thought. But I do think my point still stands. Even if it's 5 times 200,000 times 12. That's a ridiculous amount of money per year. What is this? That's a restart. That's not even... Also, before I get started in this race, let me catch up. Dave B. I don't even think I said hi to Dave. Or Turbo Mustang. What's up, guys? Welcome. Okay, Cars makes an interesting point too. It's like they can charge that because they know that like the people are playing that game already likely have the money for like the equipment as well. So it's just a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a luxury's wrong. It's like a high tier experience. It's like high tier pricing. Or pricing model. That's the I've been trying to get the phrase pricing model this whole conversation. It has not come to my brain until just then. See, yeah, I don't like... Car says you get all the rookie content and most D-class content for free, but then C to A content is mostly further paid content. I just don't like that.
Now, he did note that once you get that, you have that forever, and that's not an extra cost.
Well, yeah, but that's just a DLC, though. I mean, all DLC is a one-time purchase. That's why it's a DLC. But yeah, I don't know.
I think your anger is misplaced. It's not wrong. It's just directed in the wrong place right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's directed at the wrong place, but it's could and should definitely be more spread out. I will gladly say that, because my anger in general is towards the system that allows these things to happen and not individual companies, really. But there's still a company that works within the system. I still don't like it, so you gotta deal with my Twitch tirades, unfortunately, iRacing. It's really not as much hate as it might seem. It's really no hate at all. I just think it's
Eric's a very angry man.
Yes, that is the that's the reality. I just have a truly insane amount of anger just bubbling beneath the surface at all times. No. Okay, that wasn't that bad. I'm not gonna restart. And when anything even remotely touches the the stench of capitalism, it really flares me up. This vehicle is by far my least favorite vehicle in this game, and it is not even close. I hate this thing. I dread these races.
I'm in a different tab. I need to see what you're driving.
It's like the trophy truck type of thing. Oh,
those can be a little tricky.
yeah.
There was something else. Gosh, I can't remember what car it was that I tried out in that game that I really, really hated. It wasn't the trophy truck. What was it?
In this game?
Yeah.
Was it the Formula E?
No,
Rip-off?
I actually really like the Formula E car.
Okay. I do as well, but they are kind of floaty and very fast, so that's why I wondered that. Oh, I see. What's up, Beat Poet? Beat Poet suggested Autoblog makes our own sim racing game. That would be incredible.
And impossible.
And impossible, certainly. But it would be awesome.
None of us, we don't have the money, we don't have the resources, we don't have the expertise. That is not something that we could even remotely consider.
Yeah. Best we can do
is play these games and be jerks about it.
True. I mean, I bet we could make the world's worst like Flash game. We can make a Roblox game or something. But yeah, why would we do that?
I just shudder at the mention of Roblox at this point.
I hate Roblox so much, it's crazy. Oh my gosh, the fact that people, and this is another capitalism thing just in general, but the fact that that company is valued as highly as it is when that game is garbage and unplayable is astounding to me. Truly astounding. Anybody who has ever booted up Roblox for more than 5 minutes, who is over the age of 16, how could you possibly value that game at anything more than like $1? It's awful. It's awful. It's just nothing. It's a bunch of unfinished games made exclusively by 8-year-olds. None of them work. None of them look good. Oh, I hate Roblox so much.
And all of that time and effort in creating all that stuff by those kids is making them so much money that those kids will never see.
Yep, 100%. 100%. It's the very rare creator, I'm sure, who can actually get some kind of useful money from their weird convoluted system. That's another weird convoluted system that I hate. But again, another one that I don't understand, to be fair. But I'm even more confident in my hatred of Roblox. Just because I have played Roblox, and it's bad. It's just bad. It's not even kinda good.
Cars is apologizing for having recommended trying it out a few years ago.
No, because I think, let me be super clear, because obviously, you guys know me, I'm prone to hyperbole for the sake of comedy, but I think Roblox is an interesting idea. I think it got just way out of hand. I really quite like the idea of a game that anyone, regardless of age or skill level, can make other games in. I just think Roblox, first of all, I think the discourse around it is a joke. To call Roblox like this amazing forward-thinking metaverse is hysterical and untrue. Nothing has ever been less true. And I think that it's like, I mean, this is just, I think it's similar to almost like the Android iPhone debate, where it's like, do you prefer Android, where it's like everything's open, but that leaves itself open to a really fractured experience, or do you prefer iPhone, where everything's locked down, but in general the experience is, you, if not better, you at least can know what to expect, and you can expect it to be a certain way. Roblox is very much the first version, where everything is broken because nobody understands how to do anything in it, but they let you do it anyways. I wish there would just be some constraints, so even if people's games weren't very good, which they're already not very good, at least they'd be more playable. I hope I explained that well.
Well, Cars also mentioned that he hates Roblox now too, so it's no big deal. And also, should point out that like when we were all first trying it, like it was all new to us. We didn't know that much about it, so
yeah, of course,
seeing what it was,
of course, and it was less the discourse around it wasn't anything close to what it is today.
Mm-hmm.
But Cars also says Apple sucks. I mean, we strongly disagree there. Well, no, we don't. I agree Apple does suck, but I think it doesn't suck any worse than Microsoft. I think there is no good solution. I think, but what I appreciate about Apple is that, like, particularly, so, like, I have a PC and a Mac Pro in my house currently, and they're both better and much worse at different things. Obviously, you can't game on a Mac. That sucks. That just sucks. There's no defending that. It's 2022. You just got to be able to figure it out, Apple. But on the other hand, I would never in a billion years try to do anything professional or creative on a PC, because Windows is the least stable operating system that you could ever dream up, ever. So it's like, they both have benefits, they both have very large faults, just depending on what you want to do with them. But I would argue, though, both of them do strongly suck, and there is no good solution, unfortunately. Because as an Apple user, man oh man, there are days I hate Apple. And there are certainly days I hate Microsoft. I just wish...
Well, yeah. Well, and I mean, that is kind of the difference there. It's like, what can be nice about Apple is that the stuff that it's designed to do, it's designed to do it, and it's designed to do it reliably.
Yep, but it's not designed to do anything but that.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you need something a little bit out of the ordinary, or like you need to custom tweak something or things like that, you're out of luck.
Yes.
And that's where Windows is handy. And also,
totally.
Because Windows is not exclusive to like one hardware maker.
Yes.
That's why you also get a lot more variety, and you get support for like games and things. Yeah, it's one of the, like, they are like, it's exactly like you said. They are better at, like, they're one of them is fantastic for one thing and awful at the other, and
yes.
then vice versa with the other.
Totally. Yeah, Be Poet summed it up. Just hate them equally, yet differently. I like that. Also, yeah, that's no problem, Cars, and good luck. I'm sure you will kill it. That is awesome.
Good luck. Tried to do the Star Fox thing there. I don't think it quite came through right.
Oh, I hear that now that you said it. It's just, it's been so long since I've played any amount of Star Fox, other than I went through this weird phase a month ago where I actually didn't play it, but I had this weird nostalgia for Star Fox Adventures, which is not a Star Fox game at all, but I have fond memories of it. And so I looked up a long play on YouTube of it, and I watched like an hour just in the background. And it was nice, but that game is not a Star Fox game. And
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that because I actually also recently watched a Let's Play of Star Fox Adventures
No way!
from a couple years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Um,
What are the chances? That is not a popular game. What are the chances? Oh my
Yeah.
god.
it was interesting. I mean, like, I've never played it, and I kind of watched it because it was some people that I like that,
Yeah.
play games, and was also kind of curious how it actually played. And the thing is that the development story of it was that it really never was a Star Fox game to begin
Yes!
with. It was just going to be a new sort of Zelda-like adventure game
Yeah.
from Rare, and then Nintendo and Miyamoto were like, no,
Yeah.
it's going to be a Star Fox game now.
Classic. Oh, classic Miyamoto story. That guy. The Miyamoto stories from the game industry, particularly around Nintendo, are just... I mean, every single one is like, someone will be 80% done with the game, and Miyamoto will come in and be like, do this. And then everybody's like, oh, I guess we gotta do this now.
And oftentimes it works out great.
Yeah,
but
no, that's true.
obviously, there are times that it does not.
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
I'm imagining like the memes from the Tom Hanks movie about the pirates and stuff. I forget what it's called. It's like, look at me. It is a Star Fox game now.
Yes, yeah, 100%. 100%. Captain, is that movie called Captain Phillips?
That sounds right, or at least close.
Yeah, something like that.
Look at me. It is a Star Fox game now.
Seriously, that's so true. But man, Miyamoto is such an absolute legend, though. It's those kinds of stories that it's like, I could see why it would be so difficult to work in that environment, but also, he's so often right, like he's so rarely wrong. Man, that guy's a legend of the industry for sure. I love Shigeru Miyamoto. What a legend. I totally forgot the button for boost. Is it A? Nope. Is it B? Nope. X? Nope. RB? Nope. Gotta be LB. Do it straight away. It's LB!
Figure it out right at the end of the straight.
Nice. We got plenty of... Oh, wow, I'm crushing it this one, so plenty of time to fool around. Didn't even need it. I wonder what race this is. I was really hoping to finish the story mode today, but we might need one more day to finish.
Yeah, I think you're close.
Gotta be close.
Oh, you know something that I thought was really weird with Grid Legends is that you are forever referred to as Driver 22.
Yes, yeah, I don't love that.
Now, here's why that's a super, super weird thing. Because Codemasters was one of the first developers to, like, record a whole bunch of names so that when, like, your pit crew talked to you or something, they would actually say your name. So, and, like, even Dirt 5 that this company developed just recently, even then, while they didn't record a whole bunch of, like, actual names, they did record a bunch of nicknames for you to pick from.
Yeah.
So that would be used. So it is extraordinarily strange that they wouldn't do that in this game, where you're being talked to and referred to a lot.
Yeah. Very weird move.
Like, I could even forgive, like, for the cutscenes, still just referring to you as 22, because that's a bigger thing for time and resources. But you would have thought that they could have had the voice actors record names for, like, actual in-game dialogue type stuff.
Yeah, or even just give the player... Because I definitely understand wanting to keep the player anonymous, you know, racially ambiguous, gender ambiguous. I totally get that. But, like, maybe just the last name? People, especially in sport, everybody just refers to everybody by their last name anyways. Just do that. Why a number? Why driver 22? It's just so strange.
Well, I think at the very least they don't do last names usually, probably because there's a lot more of those that are a lot harder to have a recording of it, but there's probably a little easier to kind of come up with it. Well, actually, you know what? I'm actually maybe coming to something here. I wonder if maybe part of it was that they're like I'm having one of those moments where like I'm realizing, oh, you know what? I'm probably thinking like, oh, it was probably easy to record a whole bunch of names because I'm just thinking of probably a lot of like Western and like white names, and probably not taking into account that there are probably a lot of regions where they never did record names.
Very
for those
true.
regions and for people with those backgrounds and stuff, and maybe that's why they didn't bother with it.
Yeah.
Because they're like, if we may be including a lot of these names, but we're by accident excluding a whole lot of people. Actually, I wonder if that's also why in Dirt 5 they just did a whole bunch of nicknames. Because then they're not necessarily leaving someone out. You're just kind of picking all variety of kind of odd nicknames.
Yeah, that's so true. And racing, I would say, is one of the most truly global sports. So yeah, that makes absolute sense. It's just a lot of them are developed, not all, but a lot of them are developed in the West, and by virtue of where people have grown up and lived their entire lives, they're gonna have biases, unconscious or otherwise. Maybe they're just trying to fight against that.
Yeah, because I'm actually even thinking back to like when I was a kid, and like I don't even know if this is a thing anymore, but you could get like little personalized like little tiny license plates for like your bike that would have like your name on it.
Oh yeah, and like gift shops, yeah.
Yeah, I could never find one that said Joel. And I was always so disappointed because I was like, I could never ever find something that actually had my name on it.
Yep. Same for Eric with a K.
Yeah.
No problem, Eric with a C. But Eric with a K, I remember always having a difficult time finding.
Yeah, and so, yeah, no, it's just, like, I don't know why that just suddenly... I don't want to call it an epiphany, because there'd be somebody that'd probably be like, well, gosh, why didn't you ever think about that before? It's like, yeah, I know, I'm sorry. It's just come to me. It's like, oh yeah, I think I get it now. It's like, because if you had a name that like it wasn't on the list, you'd probably be kind of disappointed and kind of sad.
Yeah, totally.
And that's exclusionary.
Yeah, especially if the list was like 200 names long and it still doesn't have yours. Yeah, yep. It's gotta be terrible. Which is how I felt. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, you've got all these names, but you don't have mine? Like, I didn't think my name was that weird.
Yeah, spinning the kiosk around, rifling through in my case, all the E's, in your case, all the J's. Like, well, maybe there's one hidden behind Joe.
Well, and so my brother's name is Kyle, and like almost always his name was.
Oh yeah, of course.
And so like that like added to it. It's like, oh man, really?
Yeah.
Not that it's like the hugest thing in the world, but like, you know, if that's one thing on top of a whole bunch of other things that makes you feel like you're not really included, I could see how that could really be kind of hurtful.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah, so I think I get it now.
Totally. Totally, but they still could have come up with a better nickname than Driver 22.
Yeah, I
would
agree
say.
with that. And so I think I do kind of like the nickname system that they use for Dirt 5. I could maybe see them expanding on that.
I like that in Forza, everybody calls me Count Driftula. I think that is great.
Yeah, maybe that's the way to go, like, in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, I think probably. Beat Poet says, "Oh, one day they will sell names or nicknames as a DLC." Beat Poet, I think you're probably kind of joking, but I also think there's almost a 100% certainty that will happen one day.
That's a joke.
Yeah. And then Dave B says, "I was from up north. Call me Rusty." Axelrod Ranger, what's up, Axelrod? Says, "Your feelings would have been hurt, but I'm not sure what that is in reference to."
I think that was when we were discussing like about the names and stuff. And,
Ah.
like, oh yeah, yep, that would feel bad.
Yeah. Then Beat Poet says, "All the hopeful kids at a Disneyland gift shop looking for that keychain." Yep, that's exact. Yeah, it was always like on vacation for some reason. There's just like a spinny kiosk with like just magnets with like a name, and it's like Myrtle Beach or whatever, wherever you were.
There's even an episode of The Simpsons that makes fun of that because I think it's when the Simpsons go to Itchy and Scratchy Land, and Bart is looking for one of those license plates.
Oh yeah, you're not gonna find one with Bart. Yep.
But one says Bort, and he's like, Bort? Who would go and get Bort? And like, and sure enough, like the camera pans and there's a family getting the Bort thing.
Bort. Oh, that's good stuff. Okay. Oh. So this is called the
Gauntlet. Still got a little ways before you finish this.
Yeah, so I'm actually gonna not do that because I assume the Gauntlet means it's gonna be long.
Actually, I don't think it is very long.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. Regardless, we'll keep the last. Okay, so yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 5 left. So we will definitely finish this up in a stream. If not, probably next week. Might as well. I've been having a really good time with this game.
And something that I'll mention, since I have finished the story part of this, is that basically after you finish the story, that's basically when the career mode starts.
That's awesome. Oh yeah, cause then you're like a pro racer, right? Or I assume that's how the story's gonna end. It'd be hilarious if it didn't end that way. But that's really cool. I like that. Axelrod says, "My real name is John." Oh, and I had the hardest time finding my name. Whoa, did you come across a lot of J-O-N's maybe, and not any J-O-H-N's? It's like always like the opposite of the one that you are. But anyways, I guess we can wrap it up 5 minutes early. But thanks for watching, everybody. Generally, we do this from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock Eastern time. We stream to Twitch and YouTube. Super glad we got the issue figured out earlier. I guess I'll just have to be hardwired from the jump. Maybe I was tempting fate by staying wireless the past couple months, but hardwired seemed to fix it, so no problem. We can be hardwired. Thanks for joining, Joel. Do you have anything that you'd like to close out the stream with, or anything you'd like to have people go check out on the site, which is autoblog.com?
So probably the big thing today was Maserati revealed their new SUV, and I think I'm pronouncing this right, the Grecale. So that's kind of the big reveal today, and you'll want to be checking in on Autoblog kind of throughout this week and the next couple weeks because there's a lot of car news and stuff on the way. Actually, the review won't be up next week, but in the next couple weeks, I'm going to be going and driving the Hummer EV, so that'll be something to keep an eye out for. And I know that there's a lot of kind of car news coming out because normally there would be the Geneva Motor Show in March, but that didn't happen because of the pandemic that never ends. So, and I think a lot of automakers had thought that, 2 years later, probably blow over. And it's not the case. Oh, and also, there'll probably be news coming up with Easter Jeep Safari coming soon.
Oh yeah.
And New York Auto Show will be in about a month, so there's going to be a lot of stuff coming to Autoblog over the next few weeks. So be sure to pop in now and then.
Yeah, definitely make sure to obviously check out the main site, which is autoblog.com, but also follow us on social media. We're all over social. We got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. So yeah, just search up Autoblog. There are a few imposters. They're not imposters. They're just companies in other parts of the world also named Autoblog. But ours is gonna have that same logo, that red and black and white tachometer. Tachometer. I don't know why I'm still stumbling on it. You know what I mean. The TAC. TACH. That's us. So make sure to look for that, and you can find us pretty much any social media websites, I would say. We also have merch that is available. Oh, before we get to that, we have a podcast. It's called the Autoblog Podcast. You can listen to that anywhere you listen to podcasts. If you do listen to it and you like it, give it a 5-star rating. I know that is something that like a lot of podcasts ask their listeners to do all the time. They do that because it makes a huge difference. The more ratings, the higher it'll show up in search results. I mean, it's just the better for the show, for sure. So any podcast you like, really, give it a 5-star.
Take a page from YouTube, smash that 5-star rating.
Smash that 5-star rating. Smash that like button.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, like, comment, and subscribe for sure. If you've enjoyed this stream, speaking of, follow us on Twitch or subscribe to our YouTube channel. That similarly, it really helps. I mean, it just helps for algorithms and all that good stuff. And it gives us warm fuzzies when we see people follow and subscribe. So we also have a merch store. It's at redbubble.com/people/autoblog, or you can search for Autoblog on redbubble.com, or go to the link in our Twitch bio. And then last but not least, obviously, the world is insane right now. I feel like I've said that before, and every time I say it, it feels like the world can't possibly get any more insane, and yet it continues to. So, if you have a non-profit organization or a charity organization or something in that vein, some organization in that vein that you feel does good things for the world, please consider donating to that organization or donating some time volunteering to that organization. A lot of times it's much easier than you might think to volunteer for places. Just shoot them an email and ask how you can help. They will probably have ways that you can help. So consider that this week and every week. And I think that's going to do it for the stream. So thanks again for watching, everybody. Thanks again for joining Joel, and we'll be back next week at 2 p.m. Eastern for some more Grid Legends. We're going to finish up the story mode. We'll see you next week. Adios.